VIVO Cannabis Inc., a Canadian licensed producer of cannabis, is headquartered in Napanee, Ontario. VIVO has a collection of premium brands including Beacon Medical, Fireside, and Lumina. In August 2018, VIVO acquired Canna Farms, a premium cannabis company based in Hope, British Columbia. VIVO Cannabis is focused on expanding its production capacity and pursuing partnership and product development opportunities domestically, as well as in international markets, including Germany and Australia. VIVO Cannabis Inc. is listed on the TSX Venture under the ticker symbol VIVO. What a pleasure joining us in the studio, the CEO of VIVO Cannabis, with so many stories, with so many insights. Barry Fishman, how are you, sir?
Nice to see you.
Look at you, working in the cannabis space. Now, you mentioned, before I get to all the questions I was going to ask you, you mentioned that your background was in healthcare.
Yeah. I've spent over 30 years in the pharmaceutical world, primarily with two companies, Eli Lilly for about 17 years and Teva for about 11 years. So I was my training ground in healthcare is pharmaceuticals. And it's sort of a lot of relation between pharma and cannabis, especially when it comes to dealing with doctors and understanding their expectations.
You know, it's interesting you say that about doctors, because about 3-4 years ago, I went to my GP and I said, you know, heard about the idea, this was before legalization, when it was medical cannabis, and at that time, doctors were uneducated, I think. I want to get your take on this. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. It's not that he was against it. At that point, he told me his association hadn't really looked into it. And then you fast forward to now, it's on everyone's radar.
Well, I'll tell you, doctors are, they like clinical evidence. They like precise dosing.
Right.
They like to be educated before they prescribe any type of medication. And I think our industry is moving along the path of education and clinical experience. And I think that precise dosing is the next major breakthrough in cannabis. A company like us, VIVO Cannabis, we're working on products that provide precise dosing, capsules, inhalers, other forms of medication where doctors can feel comfortable prescribing, and I think that will lead more doctors to get on the medical cannabis bandwagon.
Yeah, because as you said in your opening remarks there, doctors want to have the comfort of knowing that if I'm prescribing for anxiety or anti-inflammation or migraines, you want to know exactly the dose that has been proven to help. Let's talk about your company. That's why you're here today. The announcement, the launch of Canna Farms, integrated online medical cannabis website. Okay. Why is this significant?
Yeah, let me start off with 6 months ago, we acquired a company called Canna Farms. Canna Farms is a BC-based cultivator.
Yes.
A craft producer, very, very good at what they do, one of the best-known brands in the industry. And when we acquired Canna Farms, we had two separate LPs, Abcan and Canna Farms. And we decided to actually try to leverage the two brands, and we introduced one consolidated store.
Okay.
That consolidated store has over 40 strains. It has over 100 product presentations. And the reason why we did that is because we wanted our customers to have choice. I think choice is very important.
Absolutely.
They go on one site, they could buy a number of different strains in a number of presentations, in dry flower format, in oil format. It just provides choice.
I'm not sure if it says here. What is the actual website? What's it called?
Canna Farms.
Canna Farms.
You just go on Canna Farms.
CannaFarms.com?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And so this, I can see why it's significant, the announcement that you guys have done this. What does it mean for the consumers? I know you talked a little bit about choice. You know, oils especially being available is a bit of a breakthrough. It's not always available, so the consumer will have more choice. What else will it be?
Well, I guess when I say choice, I mean they'll have a variety of different product presentations, a variety of strains, and a variety of brands. So they'll have the Beacon Medical brand, they'll have the Canna Farms brand, and we will bring on other brands from other licensed producers as long as they meet our quality standards.
Okay. Last month, you announced the appointment of Gary McMullen as Vice President, the Napanee operations. He's assumed his position, I guess, just this week. I want to talk about him because I find it fascinating, the idea that we don't even know the variations of cannabis-infused products. Now, his background's in the Muskoka Brewery. Does that have anything to do with why you hired him?
Well, we hired Gary because he's a fantastic entrepreneur.
Okay.
He's got a proven track record of building a business, and we believe what he learned at Muskoka breweries can be leveraged in the cannabis business. So we're super excited. Gary's on his 4th day on the job.
That's right.
And we're tremendously excited to having somebody of his talent and caliber.
Now, I know if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. But is there some thought, again, using someone like Gary's expertise? Because I know from some other companies I've done some research with, and there's a whole world of cannabis-infused beverages coming. I know that some companies are working on it. Is that something you guys are interested in?
Yeah. So one of our top priorities is product development,
right,
for both the medical side and the adult use side. In our pipeline, we have products that are more suited to physician prescribing. We also have products that will be launched in the beverage and edible category.
Nice. But
we don't want Me Too products. We want to introduce our products with something unique and different. Something that customers will say, boy, I'm going to stay loyal to VIVO's products because they provide a great experience for me.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a crowded marketplace, and best in class and best in product is going to be something that companies like yours, I can see, are going to want to establish, because, you know, no one remembers who's number 2.
Right.
You know, and it'll be interesting to see. And again, I look forward to it. You know, for instance, I also was looking here that in February you announced the subsidiary Canna Medicinals Inc. You received approval for allowing the sale of cannabis oil, which, as I mentioned, wasn't always around. I think Health Canada hesitated or delayed only because they weren't sure about the efficacy of the product.
Yeah. So we think it's imperative to be involved in the concentrate part of the market.
Right.
You know, we started off as a seller of dry flower cannabis, just like everybody else.
Like everyone did, exactly.
But the market on the medical side, and eventually with beverages and edibles, will be, it'll be necessary to have capabilities in the area of oils and concentrates and extraction. Mm-hmm. So we're building internal capabilities to do that because we think the trend is towards those kind of products.
Well, it's a fascinating world. I was talking to Barry a little bit prior to us starting. You know, you're a gentleman, you're 61 years old, I'm 59 years old, and we're both, you know, in the 70s and the early 80s. I'm living in California, you know, and could never have imagined a world where a guy with your background or some of the people I've met this week, it's hard to get your head around these conversations we're having.
You know, Howard, 10 years ago, we would have met each other and you said one day you'll be running a licensed producer making cannabis and selling cannabis. I would have said the chances of that are slim to none.
It's got to be mind-blowing to a guy like you, especially all the background in big pharma and Eli Lilly and all those things. And like I said, even 4 or 5 years ago when I started getting interested in medical marijuana and how that was being proposed. Again, I couldn't have imagined a guy like you talking about, yeah, I got some cannabis oil, it's good for you. But I think people are, the baby boomers, as we age, our later stages of life are going to be different than our parents and our grandparents because of this. I do believe that.
Absolutely. I can just say in my 35-year career, roughly, the last 17 months has been the most fascinating 17 months that I've had.
I can't even imagine.
It's just incredible.
Well, you're a lovely person.
Thank you very much.
Barry Fishman, everybody.